Poetry Help. The Flea, John Donne, 47. Summary of the poem. The speaker is addressing a young lady and trying to woo her, by telling about the arguments which arise with the presence of a flea there. In the first stanza of the poem, the speaker notices a flea that is hopping from himself to a young lady. He calls the attention of the lady to the flea. He argues that the two of them should make love. He says that their blood is already mixed together in the body of the flea and they have become one there. The speaker says that the flea pricked the lady and received what it wanted without having to woo the young lady. Since the mingling of their bloods is not considered a sin in a flea's body, the speaker asks why their love-making should be considered a sin. The second stanza of the poem describes the speaker's attempts to prevent the lady from killing the flea. The speaker presents an argument that there is the life of both of them in the body of the flea, and if she killed the flea, she would be guilty of both suicide and murder. Since the young lady's blood is there in the flea's body, it will be a suicide, and the presence of the speaker's blood in the flea will make it a homicide if the lady killed the flea. The third stanza of the poem presents the unconvinced woman, and she kills the flea with a fingernail. Now the speaker points out that with the death of the flea the portions of their lives are also dead, but they are still not weaker. He argues that the commingling of bodily fluids does not leave lasting effect, and he asks why the lady should hesitate from joining the speaker in sexual intimacy. He finally tries to convince her that her honor will be equally undiminished. Form of the poem. The poet has used iambic tetrameter and pentameter in the lines alternatively. There are 4 stressed syllables in the lines which follow tetrameter and 5 stressed syllables in the lines which follow iambic pentameter. The poem is written in couplets, so the rhyme scheme is similarly regular. The rhyme scheme is A, B, C, D, D. The final line of the stanza rhymes with the second line of the preceding couplet. Critical analysis. In the opening lines of the poem, the speaker points to the flea and says that the flea has sucked the blood of both of them. The liberty which the flea has enjoyed has been denied to the speaker by the addressee. Though it is a very commonplace occurrence, yet it is very important for the speaker. The poet exploits the trivial occurrence and explores the mind of the woman through the speaker in the poem. The speaker has to woo the woman, but he declares that the flea did not have to woo her to enjoy the fluids of her body. He tries to convince the woman that there is no sin in making sexual relationship with him. Through the lines in the second stanza, the speaker paints the flea as a holy thing. This flea is you and I, and this, our marriage bed, and marriage temple is. The speaker seems to be pointing to the idea of the spiritual union which has already taken place in the body of the flea. He says that there is no need of marriage since it has already been performed. They are together in the flea's body. One can find a hint here that the speaker has already tried to make a pass on the lady, but he has been denied sexual favors. It might be her own response or through her parents, which is obvious in the line "though parents grudge, and you." Now he says that even her own opinion does not matter anymore because the nature has brought them closer in the body of the flea. The flea has brought them together. He says that if she killed the flea, she would be killing him, for a part of him exists in the flea's body. If she killed the flea, she would be committing suicide because a part of her lives in the flea's body. One might think that a man so imaginative and so convincing in his argument could easily convince the lady to have sexual relation with him, but it did not happen. The lady finally killed the flea with her fingernail. Through her denial, the woman seems to be bringing to light that sex is not necessary to bring them closer. By killing the flea, the woman seems to be telling the speaker the same. The poetic wit of John Donne can be seen at its best when the speaker says that if nothing serious has happened by the killing of the flea that had sucked a little blood of the woman, there should not be any harm in sexually uniting. He says that the flea has taken a part of her, so her fear about her loss of honor would be false. He says that their physical union would not cause any harm to her reputation. Through the line just so much honor, when thou yieldest to me, will waste, as this flea's death took life from thee. The speaker once again tries to convince the lady that she should have sex with him. In this way, the speaker returns to his original argument from the first stanza. The flea's intimate contact with the woman has caused her no harm, so a physical encounter with the speaker will cause no harm either. Some feminist scholars have their own ideas about the poem. They say that the woman was controlling the speaker and she was in full command of him. Without her consent he would not be able to have sexual relation with her. They say that the woman fully understood the logic of the speaker but she did not yield. They say that a man might make powerful arguments but finally it is in the hands of the woman whether she wants to be sexually united with a man or not. Thank you so much. Kindly share with your friends.